drugs. When we were on them plantations, these people made billions of dollars and built up all types of institutions. Every institution in America, it was ground rooted in slavery, from the medical industry, the banking industry, the railroad industry, the Wall Street. Wall Street was a slave market. All of it came from us, literally every piece of it. So they need to give us what they took from us, which is money, and then we can get whatever we need on our own.
You know, you are a strong advocate for the culture, for Black people in general. Talk to me about the FBA, Foundational Black America. What prompted you to create that, and you know, that whole thing?
Well, yeah, it's just a name that I came up with, our lineage. Our brother, Dr. Claude Anderson, great scholar, great philosopher. He's written a lot of books, and he's always talked about how Native Black Americans, meaning the people who descended from slavery here, that we are a very unique group of people. He's been saying that for decades, and I'm a big student of his. And when we're talking about reparations, we talk about who it's for. I would often use the term Native Black American, but sometimes people thought we were talking about Indians who were mixed with Black. So there was the word Native. So I said, let me get another word in there that makes a little more sense, like foundational Black American. So we are literally Black people who are descended from slaves in America. We are the foundation of this country. There would not be an America without us, and we're the only non-immigrant group here. So our lineage is very unique. And then we have a lot of people who try to attack our lineage. They say, well, y'all Black Americans don't have culture. We are literally the culture of America. Everything that's positive about American culture comes from foundational Black Americans. So it's basically a celebration of our lineage.
Okay, got you. So I know you're a strong proponent for reparations, you know. Do you think that we would ever get reparations?
Absolutely. We're going to get reparations. All we have to do is be focused. We can get anything we want to get as foundational Black Americans, because we have, as long as we stay focused and codified. During slavery, you had people saying, you never going to get free. These people ain't going to free you. Black people were having rebellions all over this country. Florida, they pretty much stopped slavery. The people who stopped slavery was the Black Seminoles down there. They damn near burned down all the plantations there. Then they sent them to Oklahoma. Many Black people who were Maroons actually fought in the Civil War. The Civil War would not have been won by the Union unless they had those Black people fighting. So we were freeing ourselves and contributing to the freedom of ourselves. And whatever we put our mind to, we can get taken care of. They say we will never get civil rights. We can never get equal housing and all. We got that. All we got to do is stay focused on it.
You brought something interesting up that I want to touch on a little bit before you get into your question, because they never talk about this. I like how you brought up that there were multiple revolts in slavery, because they act like it's just Nat Turner and that we were just sitting for hundreds of years just hoping that Massa would, you know, just let us go one day. So can you elaborate a little bit more on just the history of us trying to liberate ourselves?
Oh, absolutely.
Because I feel like knowing that is a little bit more powerful than just like, oh, it was just the white man beating us down. You know?
Yeah, and anytime they talk about us getting freedom, they talk about like Harriet Tubman, which she was a writer, but Harriet was working with the white church. So they like to talk about the white abolitionists who helped certain people. But we were freeing ourselves in slavery. One of the biggest slave or former slave communities that we had was the Great Dismal Swamp in North Carolina and Virginia. That was a sanctuary city that we created where white people couldn't go into it. If white people went into that swamp, they would get killed, and they couldn't find where the settlements were. And that place never took an L. There were thousands of Black people who lived there. White historians really don't like talking about it. They went and set up the Blackwater private police agency is set up over there, because they send Navy SEALs into the swamp to study and learn reconnaissance and learn what we did. So we were freeing ourselves. We had communities of people freeing ourselves. We had Maroon communities in New Orleans, St. Malo. That was a place where you had Black Maroons freeing themselves. Like I said, the Seminole Wars was a Black war. That was really Black people who were freeing themselves down in Florida. So there's a lot of our history they don't talk about. They don't like to talk about the rebellions that we had. Even going up into the 1960s, the reason the civil rights bills got passed, you had Black organizations putting in work. Everybody wasn't getting beaten on in Selma and getting dogs put on them. You had Black organizations hijacking planes that they don't like talking about. They were blowing up police stations like up in the Bay. They were kidnapping cops. They were doing all types of stuff. that's not talked about in the mainstream media today.
Wow. So what does reparations look like to you? What do you think that should be?
It should look the same as what they do with Native Americans, the red Native Americans. The same thing. You allocate checks the same way, allocate land grants where we get to choose a certain area where we're going to call our own land. You make us tax-free. We don't have to pay taxes. Give us the same kind of casinos as the Native Americans. Give us, allow us to have our own police force, our own hospitals. When I went to Arizona recently, those Native Americans got it popping out there. Own police force, own schools, all federally subsidized. We need the same thing.
Now, I have a question in regards to that.
Yeah.
Now, how would that be? Because you said something too that I feel like a lot of people don't like to talk about as far as like indigenous or native blacks, as you say, versus the African blacks. Now, do you think that all of them descended from slavery, or do you think that there were some blacks already here? Because that would also change who could possibly get reparations and who couldn't.
Now, there were definitely black people already here, 100%.
I agree.
We had African brothers and sisters who came over, and we're all mixed in. They just relabeled the Africans who came over. Whatever tribe you were from, you're just a Negro now. The black Aboriginals, whatever native tribe you're from, you're just a Negro now. And just put all the people classified as Negro in one bunch, and that became foundational Black Americans. So
it would be that group.
Right, it'd be that group, that group. We're going to trace the people's names back to the 1870 censuses. So if your name can go to the census in 1870, that means you come from foundational Black American lineage, and that would qualify you for reparations.
You think education should be included in that too?
No, because we can get our own education.
Okay.
Because the thing is,
so does that mean we have our own institutions?
We can we can get our own education, because we do this thing where they want to give us school vouchers or something like that. They'll start giving those to everybody, and they didn't take school vouchers from us. They took money from us. When we were on them plantations, these people made billions of dollars and built up all types of institutions. Every institution in America, it was ground rooted in slavery, from the medical industry, the banking industry, the railroad industry, the Wall Street. Wall Street was a slave market. All of it came from us, literally every piece of it. So they need to give us what they took from us, which is money, and then we can get whatever we need on our own.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with you. You know, you have a lot of influence and power with your words, and you used your platform and your influence responsibly. But with your messaging, you know, we have to acknowledge the powers that be probably don't like that.
Oh, they don't.
So have you had visits from the FBI, the CIA, or have you found yourself in their crosshairs?
Oh yeah, FBI several times.
Okay.
Several times they
really?
visited me. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Anytime.
What happened with that?
The first time they visited me, they came to me in 2016 asking about Micah Johnson. There was a brother down in Dallas who just started busting on cops. And they started asking a lot of influencers, what did we know about this guy? Did we know him? Were we a part of an organization with him? They wanted to make sure that there was not some kind of secret network of people influencing folks to go out here and target folks.
Wow.
So yeah, I never met this dude. But they thought, okay, you're an influential guy, so we're just double checking, and they just kind of wanted to let me know that I'm on their radar. Yeah,
wow.
So they've done that a couple of times.
Okay, is that, and I mean, of course, you know, you coming from the environment, we used to looming threats, but does that type of threat kind of make you a little uneasy sometimes?
It is, but I expect it. I mean, I expect it. What activist wasn't investigated by the FBI?
Right, that's a fact. That's a fact.
So that's going to happen. When you start, hell, even if you're not an activist, they're going to investigate you and look into you. Yeah,
especially when you have influence. Because I think a lot of times, especially when it's funny how if you had a negative, if your message was basically continue to kill each other and do all of that, they don't care. Right. But if you have a message of positivity and forward progression, it's like, hold on, you know, he might get them to do right. But then also, we don't know, once he has their minds, he may tell them to do some other too, and they'll listen.